book lovers, and welcome to my pocket of joy. First things first. In 2 months from today, I will be moving in a bigger flat, which means bookshelves. Okay, maybe not that big. Second thing, I'm on Goodreads. Where has this been all my life? Actually, I always thought Goodreads was like a sort of shop like Amazon and stuff, so I never went there, and then suddenly, you know, just landed there, and then I saw the review, saw that it was like basically like a Facebook kind of thing just for bookworms, and I was, I need it. So if you would like to befriend me or see what books I've read and so on and so on, just check the link below in the description. I don't know if you remember, but 2 weeks ago I posted a video about with my Hufflepuff TBR, and I've read a few of those already, and I'm here to review 3 of them. And so let's get started. The first book I read was The Girl Who Drank the Moon, and I mean, how gorgeous is this title and this cover? So at the root of this story, there is basically a misunderstanding. I mean, the Protectorate every year sacrifices a baby by abandoning it in the forest in order to, I don't know, appease a witch, and she takes the baby, and then in exchange she doesn't destroy the Protectorate or something like that. In reality, you have then Xan, who actually does take the babies, but that's because the first time she saw one being abandoned, she thought, why would anyone abandon a baby? So she realized every year it happened at the same time, the same day, so every year she goes there, takes the baby, takes care of the baby and feeds it Starlight, and brings the babies to new adoptive families that will love them and cherish them and so on. So where did this misunderstanding start? In this book we follow Luna, who is one of those sacrificed babies, and Xan the Witch accidentally, instead of feeding her Starlight, feeds her Moonlight, which means that she they use the term in magic, she becomes in magic. It means that she has magic in her, and that means that she is too powerful and dangerous for normal human parents to take care of her. So Xan decides to raise her as her granddaughter, and in doing so she takes her back to her kind of cabin cottage that is next to a swamp, where a swamp monster called Glurk and a perfectly tiny dragon called Firion also live, and these 3 characters become the new family of Luna. There is something so magical and comforting about middle grade books that I had completely forgotten about. I got so immersed in this beautiful story that I felt like a first-time reader, and just for that alone it deserved 5 stars. But it's not for that alone, because the story is really incredible, adorable and sweet. I mean, the characters are incredible. I never thought I would love a swamp monster or wish for a dragon to fit in my pocket. Luna's adoptive family basically is so diverse and loving, and it just shows that foster parents or adoptive parents, whoever they are just as much capable or more capable sometimes of loving you than your biological family, and that a family is basically the people who love you. There are other like serious themes that are in this book that are so well presented and so understandable for middle graders, and I thought it was really well written. There is a lot about sorrow, the grief of a mother who loses her child, which is an indescribable grief. I think I don't have children myself, so I don't know how it feels like, but I can only imagine. There is also this mention that fear is used by power to trick people into submission, and I think that is such a good lesson because it can so easily be transposed to our world. So I think it's important that children from the start know of those things, but not necessarily in a cruel and brutal way. I think the way this is presented here, it is absolutely well done, and it gives a child the possibility to reflect on his own. So that was really well done. There were some things I wished had been more developed. For example, I mean, it's just tiny things like something of the background with the magicians and stuff, because it's mentioned that some of them have like crescent moons on the forehead, just like Luna and her mother. And so I was like questioning, okay, does this mean that Luna and her mother were destined to have magic? But it's not explained, so I'm just assuming that it's a yes, but as I said, it's not, I mean, it's not necessary for the story, but I kind of wished it had been explained. And I absolutely love that Luna is such a strong character even at 13 years old. I mean, she is given attributes that are usually given to boys, and I absolutely found that amazing. I mean, she's a mechanic, she can basically invent and build stuff however she wants them to, and she's really a great mathematician, which is never given to a girl basically, and on top of that she's kind and impulsive, and she has this incredible instinct as to whom she can trust or not, and I think that is really strong for a character her age, and I thought that was really well done. I'm also absolutely crazy about the fact that the moon is magic and can bestow magic to people, and that you can drink from it. I mean, and it's described like this sticky liquid, just like honey, and I just thought, oh my god, it just sounds so delicious. And I mean, no wonder I'm crazy about the moon. I mean, my first novel is all about the moon basically, so yeah, I really, really, really love this book, and if I ever have a girl, I will definitely give it to her to read, but also a boy, of course, because they need to know basically strong female characters as well in their lives. So The Girl Who Drank the Moon is definitely one of my favorites this year, and it just kind of made me want to read more middle grade books, so I probably need to check my TBR. The second book I read was The 5 People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom, and it was a nice read. It follows Eddie, an 83-year-old man who dies saving a little girl by pushing her aside, protecting her from a falling cabin from a defected roller coaster. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, that's like, he works in a park like that, and and there is like an accident, and he saves this little girl, and by doing so dies himself. And he arrives in heaven, and it is explained to him that the purpose of heaven basically is to explain his life, the purpose and meaning of the life he had. And in order to do so, he meets 5 people, and these people, they're not necessarily people he knew well. There could be people he just met in passing or are just connected to him in some way, and you figure more stuff about his life just as he does, and I think that was really well made and sort of emotional, and it was so beautiful to see how everything is connected. So you have like this feeling that everything is like a big web of synapses, actually, that people are just like this big ensemble that are just all interconnected, and I think that was very well done here. I liked it. It was really well made, but it wasn't as great as Tuesdays with Morrie, that also by the same author, and so it was okay, but I wasn't overwhelmed, so I gave it 3 stars, which is still good. The third book I read was Aristotle and Dante Discovered the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Alire Saints. And this follows the story of Aristotle, called Ari, and Dante, who are 2 Mexican Americans who at the beginning of the novel are like 15-year-old. And the story follows basically the point of view of Ari, who is going through a tough phase. He's a teenager, there's this teenage angst, he doesn't know who he is, and he's searching for who he is, but he doesn't know where to look, basically, and he is very much haunted by this non-presence of his brother, who is in prison and who's never talked about by the whole family because of shame and pain. And I mean, they never talk about him, just like as if he were dead, and that bothers Ari very much, and is one of the main reasons why he is so angry and feels misunderstood and feels alone, because he doesn't have friends. He never had friends. He's a loner. Enter Dante, who is at the pool and sees Ari struggling and offers him to teach him to swim. And this is how these 2 people meet, and Dante is so free-spirited and confident young man, and both boys actually click. They work so well together, become best friends, and the relationship is so deep and true, like true best friends only can be. And I really love the dynamic of the 2. I didn't think I would like this so much, because I was told there is not a big story. I mean, there's nothing really happening in the sense of, ooh, there is a crime, you have to follow and then solve the crime and stuff like that. This is just basically an episode of these boys' lives. And of course there are like things happening, but not in the sense of, ooh, big plot twist and stuff like that. So this is very passive. You follow the thoughts of Ari and his inability to feel that he belongs in the world, and it was actually so well written. I devoured the words. I just so wanted him to resolve his issues, and I wondered how he would do it, and it was just basically such a great story. So I don't want to spoil anything, so I will just say this. I love the simple complexity of the characters, in the sense that everyone has its complexity, and it's so well described uniquely in every character that appears in this novel. And most of all, I absolutely loved the love and support of the parents, because that's what parents should do. They should support their children, and how they understand their children sometimes better than the children do themselves. I don't know if that makes sense. And the way it is played out is just absolutely brilliant. So it's no wonder I gave it 5 stars. So 2 out of 3 books of my Hufflepuff TBR are 5 stars. So I think it just started really well. So I'll stop here for now, and just stay tuned for the next videos, where I will be reviewing the next books on the TBR. If you want to know where those are, I will link the video below. If you like this video, give it a little thumbs up, and if you want to follow more content, just hit the subscribe button, and yeah, leave a comment. Have you read any of these 3 books? What did you think? I'm really curious to know. Yeah, so see you next time. Stay kind. Toodaloo.